Okay, the end of summer is quickly approaching, so our next guest has some great ways to get out and enjoy the sunshine before the rain really returns. Here to share some fun, family-friendly hikes all along the Oregon coast, we welcome back the author of the Collecting Sunsets Substack, our pal, Adam Sawyer. Great to see you.
Hey, great to see you.
You've got us covered really up and down the Oregon coast today.
Yeah, we're kind of killing a few birds with the same stone here.
Yeah.
Ooh, that's brutal. Covering a lot of bases with the same story. The last chance to get some hikes in, but also be able to cool off by getting out of the valley. And maybe the further down we go, if you want one last getaway,
That's a great idea.
Squeeze it in now.
There's so many beautiful stops to hit. Let's start closest to home, right? Just
Absolutely.
out toward the Tillamook area, Three Capes.
Yeah, so in my backyard, again, I always got to include some backyard stop for us, but the Three Capes Scenic Loop Drive had been closed for almost a decade because of a landslide on Cape Meares. Recently reopened. And there's just a ton of hikes all along there you can do. If you head out towards Bay Ocean, wave at me on your way.
Okay.
You can take a beach walk. There's some trails that explore the inner part of the spit there. Head up into Cape Meares, and you've got obviously the lighthouse there at Cape Meares. You've got the largest Sitka spruce in Oregon. There's a little trail that goes there, and then there's an Octopus Tree that kids absolutely adore.
So fun.
A lot of little hiking options in there. Go down to Cape Lookout, take another beach walk, hike at Cape Lookout. Go over down to Cape Kiwanda, hike at Sitka Sedge, get a beer and a pint or a pint and a bite there at Cape Kiwanda.
You could go for a quick little outing or have an entire day adventure out in that area. Okay, let's talk about Taconich Creek. Am I saying that right?
Very good.
Okay.
Very good. Yeah. Taconich Creek Loop. So now we're going. We kind of went way south. We skipped a lot and we got down to like the Florence area.
Okay.
I'll make sure I say this right because it is the Oregon Dunes National Recreation Area.
Oh, right.
And this is really a super unique spot in this state. Let me get all these words in a row properly too. It's one of the largest expanses of temperate coastal sand dunes in the world.
There you go.
And it's not just like dunes. As you can see there's also like freshwater lakes and ponds and creeks and streams and little forested oases. And this 2.5 mile loop kind of gives you a great sample platter of all of that. And keep in mind, all these places we're talking about today are kind of flanked by campgrounds. So you can go camping, or there's lodging in the area too.
Yeah, you could really have a great trip. I think Florence is kind of famous for those dunes, but like you said, there's so much more kind of habitat to explore.
Oh, you could spend an entire lifetime exploring those dunes and not get it covered.
Okay, we're going to keep going south. South Slough, we're down in the Coos County area now.
Yes, and this is word salad, as we were discussing earlier. It is technically called the South Slough National Estuarine Research Reserve.
Oh, great job, Adam.
Thank you. You can be taught. But it's just simply called the South Slough, really, by locals. And I've talked about it a time or two over the years on this show because it's one of my favorite places to visit on the Oregon coast. It's super diverse. So, like, obviously, it's an estuary, but there's like mud flats, there's forested parcels, there's boardwalks that go into the actual slough area. There's an interpretive center that's great for the kids. All sorts of stuff you can look at, and trail systems kind of going off in every direction. It's a wonderful place to visit.
Those boardwalks are always super cool for little ones or whatever abilities that you have in your family. You can see so much and just have a super safe trail space to explore.
Regardless of where the tides are too.
Yeah, that's true.
It's perfect.
Okay, Francis Schrader, tell me about this one.
And why are we heading even further south?
We're going all the way down.
Because the further south you go on the Oregon coast, the further away you get from people.
This is true.
We're getting away from the population centers, and down near Gold Beach, we're almost getting into like California territory. If you didn't feel like going all the way down to the Redwoods, this spot here, the Rogue River, Siskiyou National Forest, it's really accessible, and it's got some of the best accessible old growth you can find.
Oh, nice.
It's only like a mile loop. It's easy to get to, and because it's not the Redwoods, it's not like super crowded. But there's also, it's a different forest than we typically see, especially up where we are. So there's like hardwoods, myrtle tree, Port Orford cedars, in addition to the giant Doug fir. And it's just a wonderful spot, super family friendly. And, away from the people. There's a lot to explore down there.
There's so much. I mean, if you've got a couple of weeks left before maybe kids are back in school, you can really have some nice adventures.
Yeah, the entire southern coast, we have the scenery, all the sea stacks and stuff that we have on the north coast, and then it's kind of just beaches for a long time, but then it really picks up into that dramatic scenery again once you get into the southern Oregon coast.
Well, thanks for stopping by.
Yeah,
it's
my
always fun
absolute
chatting
pleasure.
with you.
Love to be
Lots of
here.
adventures ahead. Okay, we'll have more information about Adam and his Substack, Collecting Sunsets, on our website at ka2u.com. We'll be right back with more Afternoon Live right after this.